from Formworks. This is my 1969 C10 Longbed Stepside with a Blueprint 540 in it, making over 700 horsepower. Let's take this thing to the scales, CAT certified scales, and find out what it weighs with a full tank of gas and me in it. It used to weigh 4850. I don't think it weighs that anymore, and it's got a heck of a lot more power than it did with the 396. So this should be a pretty good experiment to find out what we're doing here. We'll find out here in a few minutes. Put your guess what you think the thing weighs down in the comments. And then, at the very end, let me know how far you were off, because I am curious what you guys think this thing weighs. Because it's a Longbed Stepside from 1969, all steel body, big block Chevy. It won't be 3,000 pounds, I can tell you that. Let's go this way. Alright, let's go pick a pump. Ooh, down on the end. Is that a Dodge? That is a Dodge Viper. And a Mustang. There's a Dodge Viper here. All right, we got a full tank of gas. Let's go over on the scales and find out what this thing weighs. Got our way in. I'll tell you what it is in a little bit. Let's get back to the house. Welcome back to the garage. We got the results. The results are in. The scale of let's just say scales are no fun for anyone. I don't like getting on them, but putting the truck on them and seeing this number, really good things. To say why this is so significant, I need to go backwards a little bit. Let's go to 2019. When it was kind of the first time I ever weighed the truck to figure out what it weighed for performance reasons, just because, you know, what's it weigh? I mean, it's a big heavy truck from the 60s. It's got to be quite heavy. In 2019, it weighed 4,850 pounds. It had a weight distribution of 63 in the front and 37 in the rear, and it handled like a truck from the 60s. And to illustrate, it basically meant all the weight was in the front, so the tires in the back spun real good, and you could kick it sideways without trying real hard. I didn't particularly want to keep that characteristic when I moved forward and put the new motor in it. So we did a few things to make it safer and make it better. So 2019, 4850. Truck, you know, it was pretty worn out at that point. We were about 280 something thousand miles on the thing. Suspension was wasted, the electrical was wasted, cooling system was on its way out. Had to do some things to fix that. This is also the time that my wife and I were talking about our 10-year wedding anniversary, and this is very special to me. And like, to this day, thank you, Cody. I like my anniversary gift. For those of y'all that don't know, she got me the short block that's in this thing. I said that I would like, you know, big block, short block, and she was absolutely down for the idea. The truck's been in her life just about the same amount of time it's been in mine, and keeps it on the road. I'm very grateful. Love you. All right, back to the story. I had no idea what kind of power or things I wanted to do with the truck at that point, but that's okay. I knew that the electrical needed to be redone. I knew the suspension and brakes needed redone. So I started working on those kinds of things. I started with the electrical, completely went through it, converted it to a one wire, completely rewired it with an American Auto wiring kit. It worked out really well. The truck has never electrically worked better than it does literally today. It works great. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. The suspension and the brakes and the frame. They needed some attention. The frame literally needed to be straightened. So I took the frame, up to a place in Tennessee, got it straightened. They were really great. Not many people actually straighten frames anymore, but with that out of the way, it was kind of like green light for big things to happen. We went through the suspension. We lowered the truck 4 inches in the rear. We lowered it 3 inches in the front. Put better brakes on it. We have Wilwood D52 calipers up front, bare slotted and cross-drilled rotors. We have Wilwood brakes in the back. We rebuilt the 12 bolt in the thing. It's a 308 with 29-inch tall tires, Mosier axles, Eaton center section, Mosier diff cover, and Caltrax with a set of Western lowering springs in the rear. And the truck rides great. It still has its full travel and suspension, even though it's lowered. So it's easy to drive over bumps in city and stuff like that. And once the suspension and brakes were done, it was time to do the motor. And things got interesting because we got a Blueprint 540 and a huge Turbo 400. And that thing, I can tell you, it's an animal. It's great. We pulled out the old 396 with all the cast iron, everything. That thing was really heavy. Like even when we loaded it in Troy's truck, you can watch that truck squat when we put that weight in the back of it. But with that out of the way, we put in the new big block 540 with Troy. Thank you, Troy, for helping me do that. And then, Nick, me, and Troy got it running along with the Tinkerers, and we've been playing with it ever since. And if you want to go back and see those episodes, I invite you to do so. They're in the catalog. I'm pretty excited about those. I'm glad we documented that. So now it's 2024. Suspension's been rebuilt, the truck's lower, it's lighter, it's definitely faster with the new motor. What does it weigh? What is our power to weight ratio? Like, these are the questions we can start asking, and then what is the weight distribution? So like we can start addressing some of the more handling things I want to do. Okay, here's the good part. In 2024, it weighs 4,340 pounds. That is 510 pounds lighter than it used to be. And you can feel it in the steering, you can feel it in the weight, and the feel of the truck in the steering. 59% of the weight is over the front axle and 41% of the weight is over the rear. And if you don't think 4% makes a huge difference, every company in the world, if they could do 4% better, they would be thrilled and tickled to death in their profit margins. Like, yeah, 4% is quite a bit. It's not the magical 50-50 like the Supra or the 914. So, but I don't care. We can work our way a little bit closer because I think we could probably get this thing maybe 55, 45. It still has to do truck things, so I don't want to get too extreme with it. And we're not going to go like Pro Touring where we've got like weight baskets in the back to make it perfect 50-50 for a course or anything like that. But like it doesn't handle like a truck from the 60s. It feels modern. It feels like it's reliable, it's repeatable, all the good like driving impression stuff that it needs to be safe on the road. So that's really exciting. So, 510 pounds and a power to weight ratio of 1.628 horsepower per pound. Any power to weight ratio with 0.1, it's gonna put a smile on your face. To give you an idea of the Supra, speaking of, it is 0.1061. And that's a Supra stock. I think it's 382 horsepower and 3,600 pounds. So yeah, I'm very excited about this thing. This thing is, I've had it since I was a teen. It brings great joy to me even to this day, even though it's been a butt kicking and a ton of work to keep it and make it run and drive it. And I'd really like to continue taking it out, putting adventures, putting miles on it, and letting my friends drive it, let my friends ride in it. And for a safety aspect, I'm responsible for this truck and I'm responsible for their safety in it. So I want it to work well and work well enough to be predictable to keep us safe so we can go on those adventures. And knowing this weight, it gives me some more ideas so it can handle better, it can brake better, and maybe we'll do some more things. We'll have to pay attention and go ahead. If you're not subscribed, click that subscribe thing because I have some adventure ideas for this thing and y'all might want to see them. And with that, I think I'm going to close for this one. Thank you guys for joining me as we went to go take this thing to the scale, get it officially weighed because I wanted to know. And now I've got some ponderings to do. So Thank y'all. I'm Gormworks. I'm out. We'll see you in the next one.
What do y'all think it weighs? My guess, 4150.